Guys, we're back. Another great episode of the Fantastic Four, our last one of the season. Thank you, Miami Dolphins, for sucking up the joint, ending it early for us. But we got Jeff, we got Nick, we got Jose. We're all here. We're gonna do we're gonna have a little bit of fun, a little recap, so to speak, a little best and worst of the season. But first, I want to bring up one subject really quick. Wes Welker, gone.
Gone. Boo.
Um, I'm not surprised if you saw the way the Dolphins wide receivers played this year,
I mean, that's it, right?
and then plus all the rumors about certain players, Tyreek Hill, not showing up on time, being late, and Waddle also apparently. So I
I
guess
didn't hear those rumors.
yeah, I've been hearing those, and
Sounds like a head coach problem.
yeah, and you got to blame somebody, and so that's what he did. Blame the wide receiver coach.
Ooh.
And supposedly Welker and McDaniels were like really like buddies and stuff. So that must have been kind of
So,
nasty in that room that
so
day.
who makes that call? Is that
Fire
the
the coach, the
coach? Is
assistant. That's the head coach usually.
that the head coach?
Yeah, he
Okay.
picks his guys who works with him. If they can't work with him, doesn't like what he wants to do, then he can go. I'm sure Greer has some input too, of course. So
Yeah, I mean, I kind of wonder if Greer came over the top and said we just got to get rid of him and make him a scapegoat. I mean, that's kind of what I see. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Nobody else lost their job. How many other people lost their job?
yeah,
Special
the
teams coach.
Another
special
assistant.
teams
Yeah.
coach.
Special teams coach is gone.
Yeah, they kind of sucked, so that made sense.
Yeah, so
So Welker's probably going to go straight to New England
probably back up
because
to New
that's the
England.
last
Man,
time
With
Welker
Vrabel.
parted ways with the Dolphins, went straight to New England and
Yeah.
and had a
Stuck
Hall
it
of
to
Fame
us.
career.
if not, they'll hire him for a couple of weeks and you know
Yeah, well, we'll see where he ends up. There's
get all the Dolphin offense, and then they can go.
assistant coaches get shuffled around a lot during the offseason. Every team usually moves one or two, or some assistant they either let them go or they go on the greener pastures or whatever. So, see you later, Wes. Second time around. Wish it could end better. Anyway, end of the season. What we're gonna do is each one of us did some homework. We're gonna have our offensive player of the year, our defensive player of the year. We're also gonna have our offense and defense busts of the year. And then we want to do the moment of the season. What was the moment that encapsulated or made or break the season for you? So I know Jeff's always prepared, so I'm going to go to you first, Jeff.
Okay, I'm ready.
Offensive player of the year. Who's your guy?
Offensive player of the year is Jonnu Smith. No doubt the best tight end the Miami Dolphins have ever had, besides Larry Seipel, I guess.
Yeah, don't disrespect the disciple.
But Jonnu Smith, man, what can you say about the guy? The guy basically carried this team on his back the entire season. When Waddle and Tyreek Hill were taking plays off and showing up late to meetings and all this stuff, Jonnu Smith stood up and was counted. He's the number one offensive player in my book. And I'm glad I'm getting to go first because everybody else is going to say the same thing. I'm sure.
I've changed it. I've already changed.
I got a
mine,
different one.
But it was if I would have went first, it would have been Smith.
All right, Jose, go for it. Who's your guy?
Okay, so we're talking about the most valuable player, right?
Well, no, who's the best player?
Who's
Who's
your
your
MVP on offense?
MVP, your best player?
I'm going to say, look, Smith had that year. I mean, we didn't even know we had a tight end until this year, right? But it does explain a lot about Wes Welker, right? So I would say Tua Tagovailoa. And I know he didn't have a great year, right? But when you take him out, we lose. And there's no other player that impacts the Dolphins more than Tua Tagovailoa. When he's playing great, we're winning. When he's playing not that great, we're losing. And if he's not there, I mean, we've only won like one, maybe two games his entire tenure here at the Miami Dolphins. So he didn't have a great year. I don't even know what his stats are here. I mean, I guess I could go grab his stats, right? But at the end of the day, without Tua, we got nobody, which says a lot about the Dolphins and the coach, right? It kind of seems like sometimes they flip the switch when Tua's in there, and they just can't win a game.
Well, I'm going to get to you in a sec, Nick, but I'm going to ask you, Jose, is Tua that good or were the backups that bad?
Well, I would say that we got some bad backups when it comes to quarterbacks,
Mm-hmm.
right? Our that's another. I mean, I've been saying it all year. This is the problem is Greer, right? He goes, look, I don't mind taking a bet, right? Or a risk, but you got to hedge that bet.
Right.
You got to have a good backup. You got to get somebody in there that's really senior, somebody that's ready to steal a job, right? A guy that has led an offense, but it's the end of his career. Nobody's giving him a chance. Somebody that would love to have Tyreek and Waddle and Achan, right? Are you joking? Right? Even with a halfway decent, you're handing the keys over to a Ferrari when you give it to a second string, third string quarterback. They should be excited to get in there, and it seems like everybody can't even run an offense, even hike the ball. I mean, it's just it is sad. So I would say, yeah, I mean, there's something to that. But the head coach, if you had a good head coach, it wouldn't matter, who jumped in there. You would just go, what's your best 5 plays, man? What do you like to run? And let's run those things in the next couple of games because coach doesn't seem to it either can play his game or that's it. You can't play the game at all, right? And coach can't help a second string, third string quarterback play a successful game. It has to be Tua.
Nick, what say you? Who's your player, offensive player of the year?
Well, I'm glad I didn't pick either one of those guys. So
Okay.
I went with Achan. The guy was
Good
doing
choice.
everything. He was running the ball. He's receiving the ball. I don't even know how many receptions he had, but he just fell short of 1,500 total offensive yards, which is phenomenal. The most important guy, I feel like, because if he couldn't get it done in the run game, he was getting it done in the pass game. He had,
592 yards receiving,
yeah,
70 receptions.
yeah, I think
he was good. He was good. He was
One fumble loss.
yeah, the guy was a rock.
he
Talk
was the
about,
workhorse of the offense. That's for
yeah,
sure. That's for
putting the
sure.
team on your back, keeping it going with Tua down. I mean, we still didn't win the games, but he had to finish with 11 touchdowns too. On top of that,
Yeah.
All right. Me, it's Juno Smith, 88 catches, tight end.
Mhm.
Came out of nowhere. I mean, without him, the last few weeks when the Dolphins still had that slim chance to make the playoffs, without him, they don't even have that. So
yeah.
I'm
Look,
not going to waste any
I
more time on that one.
I think
Defensive player. I'm going to go back to Nick. Who's your defensive player of the year?
This one was a little tough for me because there were two guys I kind of latched onto, and I'm gonna have to give it up for Sealer.
Okay,
You know,
I see that. I see that.
cracking double digits in the sack department.
yeah.
That's huge. And the guy was just a force up front, even without having Wilkins next to him. He worked well with Campbell and Agba and these other guys.
For an inside
And
lineman, 10 sacks. That's impressive.
that's a lot, yeah.
That's
And he also had an interception, I'm pretty sure, at some
I think
point
he
during
had
the
one.
season.
Yeah, I think he had one. Jose, who's your defensive player of the year?
I would say the way he came on at the end of the season, Dobson, right? I mean, there's Campbell. I mean, obviously, and I left that to you guys, but this linebacker Dobson had 3 interceptions, and he had one I think there at the end of the year, and I think he kind of solidified himself as a linebacker for the Miami Dolphins this year. Right, and he did it right there, at the last half of the season. So he's my guy.
Jeff, let's hear it. Come
All
on.
right, you guys left me the low hanging fruit. Just pick that right there. Boom, Calais Campbell. I mean,
Yeah.
there's no other choice. The man was just absolutely dominant at 39 years old, the oldest defensive lineman in the league, and just absolutely, I mean, the way he dominated that line. The reason why Sealer had so many good plays was because they were trying to double team Campbell. And it just no doubt, I'm just praying, hoping and praying that he comes back next year. He says he is. He wants to be a Miami Dolphin.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, at 40 years old, I think he's still better than any other defensive lineman in the league, and I hope we can keep him.
Well, there was that video of him and the what's it called, the defensive coordinator on the sideline there at the end of the game, and they had Campbell had his arm around Coach, and you could see Coach was already, he was getting a little emotional. So I don't know if that was, hey man, it was a great ride. It was because I think they both came from the Ravens, wasn't it? Didn't he come over from the Ravens?
Something like that, yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So they've known each other for a long time. So there was some emotion there. And I think Campbell just knows what our coordinator expects out of a defensive, player. And he led by example this year. I thought he was great.
Oh, well, once again, you guys are all wrong. All wrong.
Okay.
The defensive player of the year for the Miami Dolphins was Jordan Brooks.
Yes, that was who I was. That's
middle
who I was
linebacker. He led the team in tackles. Yep. Yes. Nobody went up the middle against the Dolphins. Whenever they went far, they went around the outsides. Yeah. The guy was a brick, a wall, nothing. And the best part is he signed for 2 more years with the Dolphins. Yeah. Okay,
143.
I talked about him a lot this year.
Yeah, 143 tackles.
More tackles than anybody else in the Miami Dolphins team. Okay. That's the Dolphins defensive player of the year. Don't even argue with the other guys.
That's who I was picking between him and Steeler. It was a tough choice.
All right. Now let's go to the dark side here. Who are your busts for the season? We'll start again. Let's start with Jose this time. Who's your offensive bust of the year?
Well, I mean, I think it's easy. The wide receivers sucked all.
No, you got to pick one player. It's got to be one player. Nobody gets off.
Nobody gets off.
Nobody.
Right? But the wide receiver group, you could pick either one of them, right? You could pick Waddle. You could pick Tyreek. But I think Tyreek set the tone by getting arrested at the beginning of the year, right? Kind of cursed the wide receivers. So I'm gonna put it all on Tyreek Hill. That would be my bust for the year. He didn't even break 1,000 yards. We didn't make the playoffs. That's why
he did break his wrist.
Yeah, he did break his wrist at the beginning of the year.
That's the only thing he broke.
No. And let anybody know that nobody knew, and he played through it. And I guess that
allegedly.
I can't go with that one because as much as I want to hate him, the man made 91 receptions.
Yep.
The fact that he didn't get the yardage because they never went deep with him. So I'm going to give him a pass. Nick, your defensive bust of the year.
Offensive.
Offensive.
I'm going to go with Eichenberg.
Ugh.
Because
I forgot about him. He was so bad, I just blocked him out of my mind.
Yeah, exactly. That's the problem. It's like a free rusher every time, and that's one of our biggest problems. So
God,
either he's got to figure it out, or we need to get his replacement immediately.
I mean, if I was Grabby on the phone talking to Buffalo in New York, telling him about how great he is, we're going to let you have him for a 5th-round draft pick. Whatever.
He was killing us all year.
Oh, that was painful. Oh, now I want to cry.
Not much to say about him. He didn't block very well.
Other than that, he was perfect for an offensive lineman. Jeff, who's your offensive bust of the year?
Offensive bust of the year, I'm going to have to go with our backup quarterback, Skylar Thompson. Even when he came into the game just for garbage time where we already won the game, he came in and immediately fumbled and gave up a touchdown, and they had to put Tua back in the game. And in fact, I think today he was released. He's no longer a Miami Dolphin, thank goodness.
Oh, the Steelers picked him up.
He's a Steeler.
Skylar Thompson.
The Steelers picked him up?
Yeah,
watch he goes to the Super Bowl next year.
As their quarterback, right? As their starting quarterback, he comes out. It wouldn't be I wouldn't be on Miami like.
My
Could be a
offensive
lot.
bust is Waddle. I mean, he missed a couple of games. Okay, but 58 receptions this year. 58. That's backup wide receiver numbers.
Well,
Right?
Yeah.
That's. I mean, that's. I don't know what the heck was going on with that guy. The guy had
I
the
think
guy had an
that
all pro season the year before.
the offense just it was in a funk all year long. I mean, for having a coach that is a offensive run guru, blah blah blah. We could have hung this on Mulster. We could have hung this on Odell Beckham, right? We could have hung this Waddle, Tyreek. Everybody underperformed, and it was allowed. And I think that's the problem is
Mhm.
that they allowed the offense to underperform all year long. And Molster did get the bench at the beginning of the year, right? So he kind of disappeared.
The whole problem with the offense, I put it at the feet of Greer. He didn't give them an offensive line.
Hmm.
All right. We're watching the playoffs. Watch all those teams in the playoffs. What do they all have? Some are great running teams. Some are great passing teams. Some are good. They all have good lines.
Mhm.
And that's how you win games. I don't care.
I'd like to look at some of those teams to see how they started the year versus how they ended the year, right? Because it seems like we always have, Greer's problem is he's always looks good on paper, right? You look at the offensive line, it's like, okay, all right, he added a guy or two, whatever, right? And if it kind of works out, we picked a guy, but then it's like bang, 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 and half the line is out, and it's like, oh my goodness, and is this happening on other teams? Do the teams start with the same offensive line that they end with? And I know maybe
No.
they're missing one or two,
Yeah.
but our lines by mid-year are never the same and ever to be the same than it did when it started.
Yeah, another thing.
I'd like to do I'd like to do a little research and kind of go back to those teams that are still in the
Oh yeah.
playoff to see if they've been lucky enough to kind of hold on to their line, and now they're making the playoffs and they're making a run.
That's a good one for next season.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens.
He also likes to pay guys that are no longer on the team. That's a big thing with all that dead cap that we have. We're still paying Xavier Howard.
Oh
well.
Are we really paying Xavier Howard? Where's he at?
Nowhere.
he's out of the
That
league.
Dead cap.
That happens. All teams have that problem. They got some players.
But we pay big money. Look at what we did with Ndamukong Suh.
Yeah.
Then we sit on the hook with large dead cap number.
At least we're not Cleveland with Deshaun Watson.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's rough.
That's hard.
Special teams, Sanders or Bailey? Who's your guy? Who did better? They both had good seasons.
Yeah.
I mean,
now there's two guys that really went out there and did their job.
Look, Sanders. I would say Sanders. Sanders is obviously scoring the points, right? I like Bailey, but
you pinned them deep.
I haven't been a Sanders fan. He's missed a couple of keys, right? But not this year. This year he was solid as a rock. I
would give it to Bailey. I mean, he kept the Dolphins in a couple of games by pinning some teams back far away from the end zone. He averaged over 47 yards a punt. That's not bad.
Not bad.
No.
All right. So I would give it to Bailey.
Because a lot of times you're kicking and you don't have that much space, or that's all the space that you do have is 45 yards.
All right, guys, here's the big one. The moment of the year. Good or bad, great, horrible. What was that one moment that made the season for you that okay, this is the season? Jose, you go first.
The moment when Tua Tagovailoa went out, right? And that was it. And I knew that we had Tyler Thompson, and I was hopeful, but I knew better from experience. That was the moment that I knew we were done. And maybe even a week later when they put him on IR, right? They put him on injured reserve, and it was guaranteed he was going to be gone for like 5 games, right? I knew at that point that the season was done, and the only thing that we had were our experiences and the fun that we were going to make at our tailgate. right? Because I knew I just had a feeling we weren't going to make the playoffs at that point. So that was that was the break moment in our season. The make would probably be when the ball just kept going to Smith, and we figured out that we had a tight end, right? And the idea that, hey, maybe coach is trying to introduce the tight end, right? But later we find out that Wes Welker and the wide receivers were slacking. That sucks.
Jeff, what about you? What's your moment of the season? Good or bad, whatever. I don't care. We don't care.
Moment of the season.
Make or break.
Well, I want to say the first play of the season when Campbell got a sack. I mean, he just shot straight up the middle and got the sack on Trevor Lawrence. The first play of the season. And so that was a good one. But for me, the best moment of the season is when we had Papa Pump on the podcast.
That was good.
He was really good. I really enjoyed that one. It took me a while to get him, but we finally got him on there.
Papa Pump was good.
Jeff's still hoping for that freebie from the Dolphins. I'm going to not say anything nasty. Nick?
All right, for me, moment of the year would be the home game against the Jets, where we went into overtime and Tua just took the ball, led the offense down the field, made Aaron Rodgers stand on the sideline and watch as we scored the game-winning touchdown to beat our division rivals.
That was good.
That was big for me.
That was fun to watch. That was fun to watch.
During a season where it was just a lot of tough games, that felt good.
For me, the moment, it's not when Tua got hurt because, frankly, I was kind of expecting it. We were all expecting it. Every time he goes back, part of our brain goes, oh, he's going to get hurt. Don't get hurt. Okay. To me, the moment of season was Game 7 against the Colts, which the Dolphins should have won. Braxton Berrios tears his ACL. He was the only guy in that team that you thought when he got the ball, something might happen, getting those, returning those punts and those kicks. Yeah. He was a sparkler. He was returning great return. He was making great returns, and you knew it was a matter of time he was going to break one. Right? He was even getting some playing time on the field as a receiver. He was making some catches, and then it all went. Right then, I go, no, that's the spark. That's it. Tua was out, and we knew, somebody. It was like he was trying to pick up the team and take it, and try to win it on his own. And when he was gone, that was it. It was over. That pretty much personifies the season. I haven't heard anything how his rehab has been, if he's coming back. A guy like that, an ACL, I heard it was a pretty bad one too. So let's hope he comes back. All right, now I'm going to throw something.
What game was that? When did that happen? That was
Week 7 against the Colts.
Week 7 against the Colts. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know what? That was in was that in Indianapolis?
Yep, I believe so.
So that field doesn't necessarily have a good reputation for.
Carpet. Carpet sucks.
Yeah.
I know the NFL wants to have their games all indoors, but
you can still put grass.
Yeah, you
can still put grass. Absolutely.
Slide it in, take it out.
That's right.
Well, guys, it's been a fun season. It's been a fun year. We had a fun time, sorta, kinda. Jeff, I'm shaking your head.
It was, from a tailgate perspective, it was a great year.
We all had fun. We all, even the last week of the season, when in reality we had no chance, we're fans. We were holding out hope. Mm-hmm. It wasn't a boring season. Well, a couple of those games were kind of boring, but it was just it's the pain. That's something Dolphin fans are starting to get used to. We're turning into, like when the Red Sox couldn't win, or the Cubs couldn't win, or Cleveland Indians couldn't win. We're still not the Cleveland Browns, thank God.
But we need a label though, like they had the curse of the Billy Goat, right?
Yeah.
Chicago, right? We with the curse of the great Bambino, right? You know, what we need a curse.
Oh, I'll tell you,
because
I'll say it. The Dolphins ain't gonna win the Super Bowl ever since they tore down the Orange Bowl
that's what it is.
and moved to that mausoleum up in Miami Gardens.
I think it's on top of a Indian burial
Ground.
right? You know, I think we need to kill a chicken or a goat or something,
Yeah,
man.
I think we could sacrifice a goat next season at
We need
the
we need a
tailgate.
santero to come
Is
in
that
there
legal?
and raise the curse. Yeah, you know.
You need a chicken, a goat, some banana, and some parsley, and you're good to go.
Right.
Do we need a
With some
permit
Bacardi,
from the
right?
city?
You know,
Little cigar action going there.
that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about. We need some of that. I know we all laugh, but we need some of that. We need
I'll go
somebody.
down the A Street and I'll hire a babalao. One of those guys from the Botanicas.
That's
One of
right.
those guys.
I want to go un babalao, right? That's what we need, un santero, right?
Right, exactly.
We need a good one, man, right? You know, so the best one in Miami to kill a chicken on the 50-yard line, bro. It's serious
Exactly.
business, man.
We'll get an exorcist to come out and perform.
Something's up, man, because it's not right that we go this long, right? This is why I believe that the NFL is not rigged. Everybody's like, it's rigged. I'm like, no, it's not rigged, because the best thing for the NFL would be for the Dolphins to win a Super Bowl, or at least be in a Super Bowl once at least a decade.
Yeah.
Right, every decade have the Miami Dolphins in. It would build a not only a strong fan base in the United States, but everybody around the world loves the Miami Dolphins. How come they're not in the Super Bowl if they're so well loved, globally? Which to me says it's not rigged, right? In any way, any shape of the imagination. So I think we need to get a good brujo in there and lift the curse.
It's been since the Dolphins haven't won a Super Bowl since 1973.
74.
Yeah, this game was a 74. It was a 73 season.
I was 6 years old, 6 and 7.
We're talking multiple generations since the Dolphins won a Super Bowl. The majority of people in Miami have never experienced a Dolphin Super Bowl.
That's right.
No, I have not.
I'm approaching retirement, right? And I was and I don't remember 73 and 74, right? Yes, I have seen a couple of Super Bowls, Woodley and Marino, right? But that's it. And we got beat, Washington and Redskins, right? Redskins and 49ers.
49ers.
Right? So I'd like to see, I think everybody at this point who's in our age bracket is like, man, if I could just see the Dolphins go just one more time, or just be good and compete
Deep into the
I'd like to see him once.
Yeah. I mean, the last time the Dolphins were in a Super Bowl, Ronald Reagan was president. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Nick's like, you're in your 30s, right? You don't even remember Shula. You don't even remember Shula.
The last time the Dolphins were in a Super Bowl, Jeff had a mullet.
I had the best one.
He was playing his guitar.
Wow.
I had so much hair, right? And I wore
parachute pants.
I had parachute pants and shoulder pads. It's been a hell of a year, guys. Hopefully next year we got the draft coming up in April, I believe it is. But for now, we're going to sign off for the Fintastic Four for a while because it's really not much to talk about until we'll do a show a week or so before the draft. We'll see who we like. What are the rumors? What might happen? If anything happens, we'll come back in. Then we'll do a post-draft. Then we'll come back preseason. And then we got another season coming up, the 2025 Miami Dolphins. We're going to the Super Bowl all the way, right?
I'm excited.
All the way.
Every year we're going.
I'm excited.
Let's hope we get there.
That's right.
We're still on the road trying to find that Super Bowl.
Yeah,
that's right.
We're not mathematically eliminated yet, so we have a chance.
Where's the 2026 Super Bowl at anyway? Anybody know? Let me see here.
No,
2026 Super Bowl. Santa Clara, California.
All right.
Expensive.
Levi Stadium.
We won a Super Bowl before out there in California.
At Levi Stadium, yeah. Well, I want to check out. I heard that's super cool, that stadium, but
I've been to that stadium. That's the 49er stadium, right?
yeah.
Yes.
That's a really nice stadium. SAP, the company that I work there has, I think they sponsor the practice facility.
Oh, okay.
I wonder if we can get in, right? For
There
this,
you go.
we get in for the Super Bowl, at least into the stadium. I don't need to be in their box. I know we have a box there. That stadium is pretty unique. We can talk about it in a moment, but it's really nice.
Well, we'll talk about it when we get close to that.
That's right.
Because this show's about over, guys, and it's been fun. Nick, thank you. Jose, smile.
Thank you.
Jeff, wave.
Been a hell of a year, guys.
It was great. It was great. I mean, hey, listen, the Dolphins win and lose. I'll say it all the time. The Dolphins may win and lose, but the tailgate is undefeated, right? So,
and I promise you, I'm going to be at a tailgate. That's
Shout
for
out
sure.
to the 605.
I'm going to make arrangements for that one. Cool guitar.
That's nice.
There's a member right on the back.
There you go.
Do you remember?
I'm a member of the Miami Dolphins.
You got your chair there? You sitting in your chair?
I did get the chair. It's kind of like a child chair. It's real small.
Yeah.
Wish I didn't get that now.
All right, guys. It's been fun. See you soon for our draft show, okay?
All right.
And you guys follow, subscribe. Come on, show us some love. Ask us some questions. Make fun of us. Follow us on Instagram. We're also on Facebook. You know, if you're watching us, you know what to do. Just
Call
do
me.
Okay. And we'll see you soon for another episode of Fintastic 4.